Welcome back to Birds of a Feather. This is your daily Baltimore sports podcast. My name is Nathan Stroud, and today we've got a lot to go over. This was Game 2 of the Orioles and Cubs series. Game 2 of the series, Game 2 after the post-trade deadline era of this Baltimore Orioles team. And we're also going to be going over some Ravens training camp updates. We got a couple of videos that I want to show y'all, and also some updates on some returns to practice, and also a nice little re-signing that the Ravens had, bringing back a familiar name that has been on the team over the past few years. But we're going to go over this Orioles and Cubs game first. The Orioles went out there today and got a big win over the Cubs. It was a great comeback. The Orioles looked down and out throughout this game for the first 7 innings. The Orioles did not score a run for the first 7. They were getting shut out throughout the first 7 innings, and I think they went, until they scored a run, I think they went 18 straight innings without scoring a run. Because yesterday they got shut out, and then dating back to the game a few days ago, yesterday and today, they didn't score a run for like 18 straight innings. And then Jordan Westburg was able to bring in a run, and then Gunnar Henderson, the man, the myth, the legend, the GOAT, obviously the leader of this Orioles team now, hit a 3-run home run to put the Orioles ahead 4-3, and the Orioles win this game 4-3. They were down 3-0 early in this game. Tomoyuki Sugano didn't have an amazing game, but he didn't have a horrible game either. It was a game that was winnable, even after his performance. He gave up 3, but the Orioles offense, finally started to click in the 8th inning. Gunnar hit that 3-run home run. The Orioles went ahead 4-3, and the Orioles were able to go out there and pull out a 4-3 win. It got a little bit scary in the 9th inning because, again, the Orioles don't have a closer. And for as crazy and for as beat down as this bullpen is, and with all the guys that we traded, and obviously Felix Bautista also gone, this bullpen isn't great, and obviously we don't have a closer. But today they really were able to go out there and pull out a great win over the Cubs. Obviously, they were very well rested because yesterday Trevor Rogers went all 8 innings in the game and got the loss, but we don't got to talk about that. But the bullpen did its thing today, kept the game in check, kept the game within reach, and then in the 9th inning, when we needed a save, Keegan Aiken stepped up big time and got the save. He let a couple guys on via walks, but he was able to go out there and get the save, first save of the season, and the Orioles were able to get the win over the Cubs and tie the series 1-1 going into the rubber match game tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. So let's just go over this Cubs and Orioles game. So going over this Cubs and Orioles game, obviously the Orioles win this game 4-3 in miraculous fashion. A crazy comeback into this game. The Orioles win 4-3 over the Cubs. All thanks really to Gunnar Henderson and this bullpen. Shout out to Gunnar Henderson once again for coming through in the clutch. He did the very same thing, or very similar thing, back in that Rangers series, where Gunnar hit that 3-run homer to put the Orioles ahead. He does the same thing here, but it ends up winning them the game. The Orioles win 4-3. The Orioles offense only put up 7 hits in this game, but they were able to score 4 runs off of it. They went 2 for 5 with runners in scoring position, and they left 4 guys on base. So the opportunities weren't really all there for the Orioles, but they did deliver in the time that they needed to. Jackson Holliday was the leadoff guy in this game. He went 0 for 4 with a run scored. Jordan Westburg went 2 for 4 with a run scored and an RBI. And then Gunnar Henderson, the savior, the hero of this game, goes 2 for 4 with a run scored and a 3-run home run to put the Orioles ahead. That ended up being the go-ahead homer to win the game. Great thing by Gunnar. Obviously, Gunnar is starting to really cook again this season. His home runs are starting to come back here recently. And his average is obviously up again at a 285. He's now the highest, in terms of batting average, the highest on the team now. So Gunnar Henderson's still doing his thing. And being the Gunnar Henderson that we know and love, I think that over the next couple of months, while we see guys like Kobe Mayo and hopefully Basayo and Beaver soon, hopefully when we see those guys get at-bats, and we see development throughout these players as well, hopefully Gunnar Henderson can really just go back to true form and show everybody that he still is Gunnar Henderson. But Adley Rutschman in this game goes 1 for 3. Kobe Mayo goes 0 for 4. Dylan Carlson goes 0 for 4. Colton Cowser goes 0 for 3 with a run scored. Also, shout out to Colton Cowser in this game. He made some incredible left field plays in this game to save some runs as well. Made some great plays. Jeremiah Jackson, who played his second game in a row, he went 2 for 3. Yesterday, he got his first base hit of his career, and then today in his second game in the majors gets a 2-hit day. So Jeremiah Jackson, in the 2 games that he's played for the Orioles, obviously it is an extremely small sample size, but in the 2 games that he's played with the Orioles since we called him up, he's been doing great. So shout out to Jeremiah. And then Luis Vasquez had to get subbed in late. We had to change our lineup around a little bit because Tyler O'Neill was going to play, but then he had an illness, so we had to take him out. But Luis Vasquez came in, didn't get a hit. So overall, the offense wasn't amazing. Obviously, Gunnar Henderson drove in 3 of the 4 runs scored in this game, but it was enough to go out there and win. Again, if you win 1-0, or you win 12-0, or you win 4-3, like the Orioles did today, it does not matter. A win is a win at the end of the day, and the Orioles and Gunnar Henderson really was able to come in clutch when the time needed it. And also Jordan Westburg as well for bringing in the run before and being that extra run to help with the win. But going over the pitching was very solid in this game. Only 3 runs given up. All of them were by Tomoyuki Sugano. He got through 5 innings, gave up 5 hits, 1 walk, and 3 runs across 5 innings. Not horrible. Had 5 strikeouts as well. 95 pitch count across 5 innings. Not horrible by Tomoyuki Sugano. He did get worked a little bit, but he was able to push for those 5 innings. Gave up 3 runs, but still not bad. Not bad by Tomoyuki. Not amazing, but also not bad either. This was definitely a winnable start, which, the Orioles were able to go out there and get the win. But the bullpen in this game was great. Corbin Martin, Grant Wolfram, Yanir Cano, and Keegan Aiken all went out there, and none of those 3 guys gave up a run. 0 runs given up across those 4 innings of the 4 different guys out of the bullpen. Great plays. Grant Wolfram gets the win. He's actually 2-0 this year in recorded wins. It's pretty funny. But a great overall day by the bullpen. And a bullpen, mind you, that is very much depleted in terms of its talent. Obviously, you traded Brian Baker and Seranthony Dominguez and Gregory Soto and Andrew Kittredge. And then Felix Bautista is on the IL right now, and we might not see him the rest of the year. So this team is without a lot of its high-leverage relievers, and it's also without its closer. And the Orioles bullpen today was able to go out there against one of the best teams in baseball and hold them to 0 runs once the bullpen came in, and it ended up giving the offense a chance, and the offense delivered. And Gunnar Henderson again hit that homer to put the Orioles ahead. It was a great win overall. The Orioles did seem down and out. They seemed dead, but then they were able to come back in the 8th inning, and those 4 runs scored in the 8th inning were all the runs scored by the Orioles, and they ended up getting the win. They give themselves a chance to actually win the series tomorrow in the rubber match game. And in tomorrow's game, it is going to be Brandon Young for the Orioles and Colin Rea for the Cubs. Both guys have struggled a little bit on the year. Colin Rea with a decent season, but Brandon Young obviously has not had a great season. Hopefully he can go 5 innings at least. Hopefully he can limit the damage as much as possible, but we will see what happens with that. I'm looking for the offense tomorrow to actually have a good day. The past 2 games, the offense hasn't necessarily been crazy. You look at, yesterday they get shut out. Today they score 4 runs, but they pretty much were all by Gunnar. So I'd like to see more guys go out there, especially, again, post-trade deadline. We're really right now looking at Kobe Mayo to see how he's going to do. Eventually Basayo and Beavers getting called up. But Jeremiah Jackson got called up as well, and he's been doing his thing as well. So hopefully he can continue to play good. But the Orioles get a big win over the Cubs and force that rubber match tomorrow, which we're going to, of course, be going over in tomorrow's episode. Orioles get a big win. Another thing that I wanted to go over and talk about was some Ravens training camp updates, and I got a couple of updates for you guys today. I'm pretty sure yesterday Isaiah Likely did go into surgery. Again, it is going to be a 4 to 6 week injury. He's going to be out pretty much all of training camp, and his week 1 availability is in question. We'll see what happens in week 1. Is he going to play? Who knows? Do I want him to play for the Ravens week 1? Of course, I want him to play, but if he's not 100% ready, we should not rush anything, and we should not risk anything as well, because you don't want to, rush him back early and have him be affected the rest of the year. I want him to come back when he feels 150% ready to go, whether it's week 2, week 3, week 4, whatever it is. Isaiah Likely is going to be a big factor of this team throughout this year, and as long as he's back and ready to go, it should be good. And again, I've said this before about the Isaiah Likely injury, but it's a very good thing that this happened early on in training camp instead of later on, for him to possibly miss multiple weeks in the regular season. And obviously, you don't want to see an injury happen at all, but at least it happened early on in training camp. And John Harbaugh was saying the exact same thing. But I do have some updates from training camp today. The Ravens held their training camp today like normal. Tomorrow is actually the first in-stadium practice that's actually going to be live streamed on YouTube. So we're going to be going over that tomorrow. So I think tomorrow I'm going to post a later episode after the stadium practice because I do want to discuss a lot of things that happened during that stadium practice. But the Ravens had their practice today, had their training camp today, and we have some little bits of info for you guys today. If you are watching on YouTube, you can see I'm going to show a couple of videos that happened today at training camp that the Ravens posted. The first thing you can see, if you notice here in the bottom left, is Zay Flowers was back at practice today. Him and Rashad Bateman were back at practice. Bateman was out because of an illness, but Zay Flowers has missed the past few days because he was favoring his knee, but he is back and ready to go. It wasn't considered anything major. John Harbaugh said he was going to miss a couple of days, and he was right. It wasn't anything too bad. It wasn't anything that was going to linger. He was back at practice today. He was looking good. He was doing his thing, so very happy that Zay's back. I was a little bit worried when I heard that he was hurt because he has been dealing with that leg injury, even going back to last year as well. But it looks like Zay is going to be ready to go and good for week 1. But in this video, I do want to show you guys a play that a certain DB made in this video. And his name is Jair Alexander. And Jair Alexander was the hot topic of camp today, the hot topic of practice today, because he picked off Lamar Jackson not once but twice today in their 11-on-11 and 7-on-7 practices. I think he picked him off once in 11-on-11 and then one in 7-on-7. And I'm going to show you a video of Jair picking off Lamar in one of them. I don't know if this was the first or the second one, but I'm going to show you the video in just a second. But Jair Alexander had 2 interceptions today in practice, and Nate Wiggins also had an interception. So Lamar threw 3 interceptions in practice. And again, it's one of those things that's like, and I've said this before, but you don't even know whether to be happy or be upset because, again, Lamar threw 3 interceptions. Like, okay, a little bit worried about that. But at the same time, he's throwing interceptions to Nate Wiggins, who you want to see develop, and then obviously your new addition in Jair Alexander. So it's a good and a bad. You're happy and you're sad about it. That's the fun thing about training camp is that you just don't really know what to be happy or sad about when a good play is made. You don't really know whether you should be worried about the offense or happy about the defense or vice versa. So I'm going to show you the video right now. It is Lamar Jackson throwing a deep ball over to DeAndre Hopkins, but he gets Jair steps in front of D-Hop and picks the ball off. And then it's John Harbaugh kind of just talking about how hype the defense has been getting. And another thing that they were saying today was how excited and how ready this defense looks behind Zach Orr. They were really saying that Zach Orr is bringing the energy. The defense on the sideline, every single time a play is made, they're exploding with energy, which is great to hear because Zach Orr last season, this is his second year as the Ravens defensive coordinator, and last year was his first year obviously after Mike McDonald left for the Seattle job. Zach Orr had big shoes to fill. And last year, early on in the season, it was a little bit rough on, edge rush, pass rush, and also just your secondary as well. And it was just a little bit rough overall last year for the defense in general early on, but eventually he got used to it. He got more comfortable with the responsibility, got more comfortable with the job, and the Ravens defense improved heavily in the second half of last season. And then going into this training camp, obviously the Ravens defense looks more stacked than ever, and it looks like in training camp right now they are playing incredible. The energy is there. Obviously, you can see in this video Jair run up to Kyle Hamilton. And again, you can just see the chemistry in this defense. You can see everything really start to form in this defense. But again, a great interception by Jair to cut off and get in front of D-Hop on that throw. But Jair looking like he's fitting in perfectly with this Ravens defense. Looks like he's fitting in perfectly with everything going on in Baltimore. And another video that I wanted to show you guys from training camp was a good play on offense, and it was also a great throw by Lamar. It was a deep ball throw to Kirkwood. Kirkwood, if you guys don't know, is someone who is is considered to be a cut candidate, somebody who is really playing for their job on the roster here. But in this video, he goes out here and makes a great play. As you can see, Lamar Jackson throwing it deep to Kirkwood. Great ball, great catch, great execution. and great way to stay on his feet even after the contact there by Nate Wiggins. Great play by Kirkwood. As you can see, Kolar and Tylan Wallace and Devontae Walker and Lamar Jackson all running over to him to celebrate with him. Again, he is a cut candidate. He's somebody playing for his job. He's somebody that's probably going to be getting a lot of reps in our first preseason game next week. But it is really cool to see Lamar getting these reps in and getting this practice. And even with the not everyone that's going to be necessarily on the A team. You know, there's still other receivers on this team other than Zay and Bate and D-Hop. You know, you have Devontae Walker, you have Tylan Wallace, you have Kirkwood. And it's cool to see Lamar Jackson go out there and make a great throw for a touchdown on this play. So great stuff going on at Ravens training camp. The vibes are up. The players are having fun. The chemistry is there. The energy, more importantly, is also there. And it's going to be a fun in-stadium practice tomorrow. Cannot wait for that. Cannot wait to also go over that with y'all. But it's going to be a fun season, man, and I cannot wait to see this Ravens team in action. And one more thing that I wanted to go over regarding the Ravens today was that we are welcoming back Brent Urban. Brent Urban has been with the Ravens over the past few years. He's been a solid D lineman, a solid contributor to this front seven of the defense, and a guy who has gotten a few sacks here and there. Somebody who a lot of Ravens fans loved, other the city of Baltimore loves. And somebody who was a free agent this year. He did not go signed, and the Ravens decided to go and welcome him back. He's actually wearing number 58 in honor of Michael Pierce. Michael Pierce was really like his best friend on this team. They always made jokes on the sideline. Every time you watch like a mic'd up video by the Ravens, you could always see them joking on the sideline. It was really funny. But Brent Urban is back with the Ravens, and he's wearing number 58 in honor of his best friend Michael Pierce, who did retire this past season for the Ravens. Somebody who was a big contributor with this team. He left for a little bit. He ended up coming back. He had a really funny interception last year where he like kind of ran it back a little bit. It was funny. But Brent Urban's back. Great addition to this Ravens defense. Obviously, just bringing your guys back that are already comfortable with this Zach Orr system. So all around, it is a great thing going on in Baltimore. And that's going to be it for this episode of Birds of a Feather. If you like this content, make sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow up on Spotify. Make sure to like the video on YouTube as well. And if you want more content like this, make sure to subscribe or make sure to follow the Twitter. Make sure to follow the Instagram. On Instagram, I'm posting updates on every single time I upload a video. And on Twitter, I'm live tweeting every single sort of event going on. Live tweeting Orioles games, live tweeting any sort of Ravens news, reactions, first initial reactions to anything, so make sure to give that a follow as well. It's going to be the link in the bio of whatever platform you're listening on, either Spotify or YouTube. Again, I appreciate all the support you guys have given me. This episode is a little bit shorter than other ones, obviously, but again, not too many crazy things happened. Obviously, we are post-deadline for the MLB, so the MLB and the MLB recaps and the Orioles recaps are going to be a lot more mellow and, not as crazy things going on as much. We're going to be really focusing on player development, obviously, but as we know, wins and losses and playoffs and all that stuff is kind of out the window, but we're just going to be enjoying the Orioles season as much as we can. And then, again, football season is about a month away, so over this next month, we're going to be highlighting the Ravens training camp, highlighting Ravens preseason games. Obviously, we got the stadium practice tomorrow that we're going to go over. So when it comes to Baltimore sports, when it comes to the Orioles and the Ravens, we've got everything covered for you guys here on Birds of a Feather. So make sure to, if you like this content, again, make sure to continue to check us out. You do not want to miss some stuff coming up with this show. It's going to be a ton of fun. But again, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll have an episode up sometime tomorrow night covering, I'm either going to have an episode like in the afternoon sometime. I might do 2 episodes tomorrow, actually. I might do an episode covering the Orioles game, and then I might do an episode tomorrow night covering the stadium practice and everything that happened there. I might actually record it live and just give y'all initial reaction of everything, but I'll see what happens with that. I might want to do something cool that we'll see, but I'll see you guys tomorrow. You have a great y'all's day. Go O's, go Ravens, and I'll see y'all later. Peace out.